Very good morning, everyone. On behalf of ICAR-CTRI, I welcome Dr.J. Sreenivasa Rao, sir, Deputy Director, Food Chemistry Division, National Institute of Nutrition. Sir, I would like to inform you that this is a group of scientists and technical officers. We have a seminar committee constituted by our director, sir, to have a scientific dialogue and knowledge creation. And under this seminar committee, we have two more colleagues. I would like to introduce Ms. Dr.J. Purnabindu, ma'am, please. And Dr. Anindita Paul. So we have been conducting seminars with the help of all our senior colleagues. And this is the 8th seminar we are conducting in a row. And sir, but you are the first person to come from other than ICR, that is from ICMR. We feel so elated to hear from you, sir. Friends, let me please read out the brief profile of Dr. J. Sreenivasa Rao. Before that, I would like to request our director, sir, to welcome Dr. J. Sreenivasa Rao, sir, with a bouquet. Dr. Sreenivasa Rao is a nutrition biochemist and micronutrient research specialist with a vast experience in nutrition research, biochemistry, and database analysis. Presently, he is the Deputy Director of Food Chemistry Division at the National Institute of Nutrition. He is a recipient of prestigious Sagarmal Goenka Young Scientist Award for Research Performance from IDA and also received Best Research Paper Presentation Award in Nutrition Research from International Conference on Mass Spectroscopy, Chicago, USA. His research interests are micronutrient analysis, heavy metal toxicity, tribal malnutrition, and food biodiversity, and also plant secondary metabolites. Even reaching this higher cadre, he is constantly upgrading his skills related to health and nutrition research. Sir has set a special focus on non-nutrient bioactive substances and on the effect of different food processing methods on nutrient parameters. His research encompasses various aspects of public health nutrition, including nutritional composition of indigenous foods, metal toxicity, and malnutrition problems in population. Sir is also a faculty member for regular and ad hoc training programs being organized by NIN. He published several research papers in national and international journals, 2 book chapters, and presented several papers at national and international conferences. Sir, we feel greatly privileged to hear from you, sir. We shall start the presentations.
Yeah. So, good morning, friends. Today we have a very important dignitary from NIN, National Institute of Nutrition, Hyderabad. I've been talking with Dr. Sreenivasa Rao maybe from last 2-3 months, and we discussed at least 3-4 times about the common programs and all. Then he was showing very much interest to come here and discuss with all what is really happening here in the CTRI and as well as in a new name NIRCA, so that some common programs can be identified, some common aspects can be identified. There they have a lot of expertise in food biochemistry and nutrition side. I think we should take the advantage of NIN and also advantage of close relations with Dr. Sreenivasa Rao. I think we can make a good programs, and we can because nowadays the collaboration between inter-organization is very much encouraged, even at ICMR level, even at CSR level. I think that we need to keep in mind, and then we need to go ahead. So, sir, I will take 2-3 minutes to introduce. I'll ask my colleagues also to introduce themselves. You know about me. I think, Aswagandha, from there you can start.
Myself, Dr. Aswagandha, Principal Scientist in the discipline of Agricultural Extension, and also looking after one area that is Northern Light Soils, as in charge of the farm. And basically working on presently keeping in view the revised mandate of the CTRI, that is under NICRA, we are having more emphasis on value addition and export promotion activities. Earlier, we used to work on technology assessment and refinement so as to give suitable technologies to the farming community.
Sir, I am Castor Krishna. Basically, I'm an agronomist working as principal scientist here, and now we are doing mostly on cropping systems and crop productivity improvement in agronomy.
Sir, I'm Dr. K. Sarala, Head Division of Crop Improvement, sir. We mainly deals with the development of new varieties through both conventional as well as biotechnological means. Thank you.
Sir, Dr. L.K. Prasad at post-harvest and value addition. Now it has become this division has become a prime component of NIRCA. So we have, I wish that we have the coordination between your NIN science and also your expertise. So based on that, our scientists are also there where we are expertise in some of the related to the.
Yeah, after the seminar, sir will be here after the lunch again. He will also see the labs, and also he will discuss, especially with you and your team. So identify some areas, common areas. Then I think we can go ahead with that. Okay. Thank you.
Myself, Dr. Chandrasekhar, the retired principal scientist. My discipline is the soil chemistry, fertility, and microbiology.
Good morning, sir. I am Dr. Suman Kalyani, Principal Scientist in Home Science, working in value-added products of turmeric and chilies in Aswagandha.
She already made some products.
Yes, turmeric and chilli.
Yeah, you have seen? No, not seen. Yeah, now we should show you. Yeah.
Good morning, sir. Myself, Dr.J. Purnabindu, scientist in the discipline of soil science. Sir, I am working on customized fertilizers for tobacco and also alternative sources of potassium for tobacco.
Good morning, sir. Myself, Vishwanath Reddy K. I am a scientist in agriculture economics, working in the area of policy research and impact analysis and socioeconomic studies of tobacco, and also working in PMSL. Thank you, sir.
Good morning, sir. Myself, V. Venkateswarlu, Senior Scientist, Division of Crop Management, and working in entomology, sir. Presently, we are developing the management modules for different pests in commercial crops like tobacco and chili, sir. Thank you.
Good morning, sir. Myself, Dr. T. Kirit Kumar, Senior Scientist, Agronomy, sir. Presently, I am working on development of remunerative production systems in commercial crops, sir. Tobacco, chilies, and turmeric based crop system for enhancing farm income and system productivity, sir. Thank you.
Good morning, sir. Myself, Dr. Ravi Shankar, in the discipline of computer applications and IT, the principal scientist. So presently, I am working on market intelligence systems. So using AI and data analytics techniques for commercial crops. Thank you.
Good morning, sir. I am Dr. Anindita Paul, scientist of agricultural chemicals under the division of post-harvest and value addition. My work area is nutraceuticals and analytical chemistry. Thank you, sir.
She's more interested to discuss with you. She's in
Good morning, sir. KVB Sachinarna, Maintenance Service Unit, sir.
Sir, I'm Shailaja, scientist in entomology. Presently, I'm working on a management of storage pest called cigarette beetles.
Sir, my name is Krishna Reddy, Principal Scientist in Agronomy. Mostly working in irrigated FCV tobacco. Now, of late, I am working on turmeric.
Morning, sir. Myself, Prabhakar, sir, Senior Scientist, Biotechnology. Right now, we are working on TSNA, sir. It's a harmful constants in tobacco. We are trying to address this issue through genome editing, sir.
tobacco specific nitrosamines.
Good morning, sir. I'm Vasanthi, Senior Technical Officer working in PME, sir.
Good morning, sir. Myself, Shanti Nandivelu, ACTO, working at VSR from Kateri.
Good morning, sir. I am Krishna Kumari, working as an Assistant Chief Technical Officer in All India Network Project and Tobacco.
Good morning, sir. I am Sridhar, MSU in charge, sir. Sreenivasa Technical Officer.
Yeah, I think now we can go to the online people who are joined through the persons who from Jirumeli.
Sir, good morning, sir.
Yeah, Venkateshan is here.
Sir, he's on leave. He's on leave.
Oh, okay. You can go ahead, Jay Krishna.
Sir, I am Jay Krishna, Senior Technical Officer, working as Farm Manager in CTRI-RS Jirumeli, sir.
This is near Ashrapet.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, you know.
Sir, good morning, sir.
Yeah, okay. Venkateshan
Good
is
morning, sir.
Yeah.
Good morning, sir. Myself, Dr. M. Venkateshan, sir, working as a scientist, nematologist, sir, biotic stress management in commercial crops, especially for root knot nematode, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Who else? Okay. Then we can go to Kandukuru. Madam, Anuradha garu, his voice is not coming.
Unmute, madam.
He's unmuted. No, not coming. You can do one more time. No, not coming. Okay, wait a minute. We'll come back to you. I think people from Guntur, Dr. P. Venkatesharlu.
Good morning, sir. Myself, Dr. P. Venkateswarlu, Principal Scientist and also Head in Charge, CTRI Research Station, Guntur. Presently, I am working on integrated pest management in both tobacco and chili, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any more from Guntur? Sreenivas is there? Yeah.
Yes.
From Guntur, sir, working as a senior technical officer.
Okay. Again, we'll go back to Kandukur. Anuradha madam, now you can try.
Sir, now is audible, no?
Yeah.
I'm Anuradha, Principal Scientist, Plant Physiology. Now, presently, I'm working on crop, water, and post-harvest management strategies for enhanced farm returns in southern AP. And I'm looking after the activities of CTRI Research Station, Kandukuru and Krishi Vignana Kendra. Thank you.
Thank you. Gangadhar?
Good morning, sir. I'm Dr. K. Gangadhar, plant breeding here at Research Station, Kanpur.
Okay, now you can go to Hunsur. Dr. Ramakrishna?
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
I'm Dr. Ramakrishnan, sir, Principal Scientist, Nematology, and presently working on biointensive management of root knot nematode disease complex in tobacco.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Dr. Madhav, sir.
Yeah, Madhav Swami.
Sir. I'm working on crop nutrition and cropping system in tobacco-based crop system, Karnataka, sir. Karnataka.
Okay.
Good morning, sir. Dr. Nanda, Senior Scientist, Genetics and Plant Breeding, working on quality and yield improvement in tobaccos.
Yeah, Dr. Rajappa.
Good morning, sir. I'm Dr. Rajappa JJ. I'm in CTRI Hunsur Station and working on the management of plant genetic resource.
Venkateshan? What is his name? No. Farm in charge. Venkateshan from Hunsur. Okay. Accommodation from Ved Sanduru.
Good morning, sir. I am Dr. Kumari Sensor, Principal Scientist of Agronomy and in charge of the station, Tamil Nadu. So I am involved in developing agro technologies for chewing tobacco in Tamil Nadu. Now I want to work on the quality aspects, increase in quality aspects in the mandated crops of NIRCA. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Mani is on leave, no?
Yes, sir. Leave, sir. He is on leave.
Okay. Oh, okay. Anybody is there from Vesanturu? Want to introduce?
Good morning, sir. Annadurai.
Annadurai.
CTO, working as a farm manager, CTRI Verandu.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, Dinahata, it is in West Bengal. Dr. Saha?
Good morning. I am Dr. Partho Shaha, Senior Scientist, Vegetable Science, and also acting as a in charge as a head. I'm working on the improvement of chili with special emphasis on the different bioactive compounds, nutraceutical traits, and also the export quality traits. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, he's identified having actually having more than more cyanine, lutein, and capsaicin. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Right now. Yeah, Namita, go ahead.
Good morning, sir. This is Dr. Namita Dasraha, Senior Scientist. Discipline is Environmental Science. I am working on PGPR-based improvement in the quality aspects in chili in West Bengal condition. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Dr. Dam?
Good morning. Good morning, sir. I am Dr. S.K. Dam, Assistant Chief Technical Officer at CTRI Research Station, Dinhata, West Bengal. I am mainly working with plant disease management, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Anybody left? No?
No. No.
No, all are introduced, no? Yes, sir. This is the thing. Now we have we have 39 plus 1, 40 scientists, but we still we have around 10 positions are left. So we are only now 29 plus 1, 30 are there. 20 positions are vacant. One of your discipline, biochemistry, we had earlier a very big, very nice scientist was there. Unfortunately, he passed away maybe 4 years back. And from then we are not able to get the good scientists. So the biochemistry is now lacking, but we have organic chemists and chemicals, and then soil chemists also there. And biotechnologists are there, geneticists are there, many agronomists are there. We have computer specialists also. So hopefully we will get by this year end, because our selection is through agriculture research service stream, not by institution. So it is ARS. So it is done by Delhi, and they will post. Sometimes some other institutes also they get transferred here. So hopefully we are able to get some people. But whatever we are making, we will show you, and then we want to go ahead. I think they will also discuss with you about seed oil issues and other things. Okay. So now the floor is yours, sir. You can, yeah.
Yes, I'm more comfort.
Just open.
So, very good morning, respected director and the dignitaries on the dais, as well as the people who are joining from other sister organizations of CTRI. So before going to start my talk, I would heartfully thank to director sir, because we met a couple of times in Hyderabad when sir visited to NIN, and we both were discussed actually how to travel with collaboration from NIN as well as CTRI, because as you know, you are almost all the heterogeneous group, and when I interacted with few people, I observed that you have tremendous knowledge, but the only thing is we have to come up with some sort of the collaboration, especially on, already sir explained me, sir, your objectives. Among the 3 objectives, already you are very strong in 2 objectives, but again, I'm sorry to say that you need to come up with some short lacuna is there in the 3rd objective, where we discuss about the value-added products. And you are coming with a good quantum of research, not only from CTRI Rajamandri, even the other organizations, what they are discussing it. So the outset, I would like to special thanks to Dr. Sailaja Garu, who introduced me here, and everyone, please. Here, Actually, my focus here, I would like to give you the attention is 3 aspects I would like to discuss here. The first thing is, what is the mandate of ICMR-NIRCA instead of NIN? Because as you know that, I think I'm audible, even if I will talk from here.
No, all the people.
Oh, right, sir. Then I need to stick here only.
Otherwise, they will click over the microphone.
Okay, sir, no problem. Okay. So the thing here is, ICMR-NIN is a more than 100 years old organization at country level. We are giving directions to the nation in terms of the preparation of the policies. And the main objective of this NIN, National Institute of Nutrition, is working on malnutrition issues at community level, how to eradicate. As everyone we know that, even after 75 years of independence, India, still majority of the people, as per as the WHO UNICEF concerned recent data 2022 saying that more than 37% of standing in the BPL, below poverty line, more than 37%. That indicates even these 37% of the people at country level even not attending single meal per day. So the priority objective of government of India is how to address this issue. At the same time, the other problem is overnutrition. Now the country, as again I mentioned here that after 75 years, still we are in the developing stage only. The even small countries, that non-fragile countries like Singapore, Malaysia, Taiwan, these countries, even the financially very weaker section countries like Sri Lanka, even Bangladesh and Nepal, they are maintaining good quantum of nutritional aspects in terms to maintain the health activities rather than the India. Even sometimes the Pakistan also. Of course, now recent from couple of years, the Sri Lanka and Pakistan were a little bit disturbed in terms of the financial aspects and other political barriers. But even though nutritionally, they are little bit sound than the country like India and the other developing countries. So the mandate of NIN is how to develop and how to focus to address this problem at community level and to enrich the health activities to the population in community level. So I would like to mention here the few mandates. The first thing is generate high quality evidence for tracking important public health nutrition problems, epidemiological and implementation research. In this concern, the countries like US, European countries, and like UK and those things, the nutrition data so far available is in the quantum of 2 types. The first thing is they have already in the form of raw data. And the second thing is even processed food data also they are having. So why I'm particularly mentioning here is, so far in Indian context, our division, that means food chemistry division from NIN, we came up one Indian food composition tables book in 2017. It has been released by the health ministry so far. That books contains only the raw food data, and we are considering it when doing the research activities, the raw data we should not supposed to consider when we are calculating the consumption energy as per the recommended dietary allowances. Because there is a huge gap between the raw data and after preparation of the things using the different utensils and the various processing methods. Because the other thing is, country is such a vast population country and biodiversified zones we are having, and the Indian population are giving much priority to the taste rather than the nutrition retention while doing the preparations of the food. So one of the studies directors are actually myself and Dr. Vimala Guru from CFTRI we have done on the beta carotene retention, as we know. Still, we are the really interesting thing here is, country is the second largest producer of all green leafy vegetables and everything next to the China. But while coming to the consumption pattern, we are standing at 27th position at global level. So because the wastage is one of the strongest thing that we need to address at community level, followed by the second thing is, we don't know the practices in terms to maintain the nutrition retention while doing the cooking. These 2 things are the important aspects here. So that's what actually the main aim of NIN is. We are trying to come up with high quality data, even raw foods as well as after preparation of the foods. That kind of the quality data will help us to maintain the generating energy in terms of the kilocalories after processing as per the recommended dietary allowances. And these are the things as we are, the schedule of all the National Food Security Act has been revised. as per the ministries, these two ministries 2022, and most of the iodized salt studies, the goiteri, as we know, this is one of the prevalence activity at a national level. Actually, we developed the double fortified salt and we introduced it into the country. Actually, as we fixed the vitamin A prophylaxis doses, which is very much helpful program to the children. As I mentioned again, as far as the WHO cutoff, 0.5% is the prevalence at community level. But even now, the Madhya Pradesh and some other states, the backward states, still the prevalence of vitamin A is more than 0.5. Though we are the second largest producer of green leafy vegetables. Because why I'm particularly mentioning here about the green leafy vegetables is vitamin A, unless the supplement we cannot directly take in the form of food, because it is available from the beta carotene only, which is the predominant component of carotenoid available in the green leafy vegetables. But during the conversion and the bioaccessibility, bioavailability, most of the beta carotene studies, what they are shown is the ratio conversion of beta carotene to vitamin A. Many studies have shown that our Indian context, as per the RDA 2020, we released from NIN, we projected that 6 molecules of beta carotene is equivalent to the 1 molecule of vitamin A. But sir, to meet the 6 molecules of beta carotene, as per as the concern, per person supposed to take 2 kgs of the green leafy vegetables per day. Is it possible? That's what the supplementation programs has been initiated by the government in the form of vitamin A. So these studies has been initiated by the NIN, as well as the maternal food supplementation and iron folic acid supplementation studies. Of course, as far as the expert concern, not from my end or the experts from India, as far as the other experts like WHO and UNICEF experts, FAO, Food and Agriculture Organization experts, in the country like India, we should not supposed to implement this program actually, iron folic acid supplementation program, because we have sufficient quantity of the things which we can attend in our regular meal. But at community level, a lot of gaps are there in terms of the education. That's what still this program is already continuing. And the other important thing, as we know, the pellagra, actually we replaced the jowar with rice. Of course, the PDS system, we know how it is implementing at community level, because of, again, the off the line, we should not supposed to have the political barriers also here. That is also one of the problem. Epidemiology studies are also, next slide. Studies are also. The second mandate here is, we are extending technical support to food regulatory and standard making bodies in the country. And these are the things. Aflatoxin contamination, especially the food, this is major barrier at a community level now. And the Kesari Dal also earlier, one of the aspects, especially from Maharashtra state, this was also we addressed already. Mustard oil adulteration. Of course, not only the adulteration, as I discussed with senior scientists, sir, the adulteration is one of the major problem now at community level we need to address. And many things like pesticide issues also, FSSI guidelines, and trans fatty acid regulations, because we are the first people in NN from my division. Proudly, I can say that the trans fatty acid data in humans that we are generating research. This study was funded by CDC, sir. US CDC, it was funded. Almost all the European countries are having the trans fatty acid data. Based on the availability of this trans fatty acid data only, we can coordinate the hypertension as well as the coronary artery diseases. But so far, we don't have the data. I think soon, in 1 year, we definitely will come up with the promising data from this trans fatty acids. Next slide, please. The third mandate and the important mandate which we came from the food chemistry division is database on nutritive values of Indian foods. We released in 2017 from food chemistry division. Actually, this book covers more than 151 nutrients for 528 key foods, because at the national level, we have divided into the 6 zones, and we actually approached the different agencies to bring back the sample size, and the samples are brought to the NIN, and we analyzed with the sophisticated instruments. This data is helping to implement the policies at community level, and it is also giving directions to the private industries how to come up with the good health, agriculture, trade, food science, environmental sciences, food industries, and everything. Next slide, please. And this is also one of the things. Establishment of dietary requirements, as I mentioned, references values, recommended dietary allowances, and dietary guidelines for Indians, and RDS, RDAR, and recently 2020 we released. These are the implications. Majority of the scientists are involved. We worked it on this more than 6 years, and we have studied at the national level, and we gather the proper information from different agencies, either from government agencies as well as the private agencies, and we brought this book from 2020. According to this, the recommended dietary allowances for healthy men and women, they're supposed to take, for healthy men, 2,600 kilocalories, but still lacuna is there. Even the people who so-called what we are thinking that we are more educated, even we are also not properly maintaining the recommended dietary allowances while attending the healthy food, even the woman also. Next one. And the fifth mandate is as well the conducting innovative basic science research of high translational value on nutrient metabolism, interactions, requirements and responses, and non-communicable disease technologies. Next. The development and developing human resources. We are giving many trainings. We have already 2 MS master's level courses and 6 courses or certified courses, which are giving sensitization in terms of the addressing the nutritional problems at community level. This program is applicable from graduate onwards, and the PhD students are also we are giving the priority to give training. Next. This one actually, to disseminate the knowledge on the nutrition activities, we developed My Plate guidance. My Plate, because as far as this My Plate concern, so regularly our plate will fill more than 54% with green leaf vegetables. Then only there are possibilities to maintain the good health. But rather than that, the quite opposite, we are attending maximum street foods and junk foods in our regular activities. Next. E-learning modules and everything is also there. One of the important aspects that NIN is attending is recently, actually, this study has been supported by Health Ministry Government of India, Diet and Biomarkers Survey India. So far, as I mentioned already, we don't have proper data on the cooked food and the biological values also, the biochemical values also. This study we are covering in 29 states as well as the 9 UTs. Recently, this study has been initiated, and we are actually engaging in each individual scientists are engaged in individual states to develop the database and transporting the samples from individual states and with collaboration of the organizations. And this also will help to maintain the policies at a community level. Next one. Of course, this, as you know, 2023 is the millet year as per UNO. Just we are focusing it. So far, actually, we have only the complete nutritional data is available only from the 5 millets. Only from 5 millets. Now we are trying to come up with almost all millets data in a couple of years. That would help to maintain, again, the various comprehensive studies at a community level to address the main issues. Okay, next. So these are the simple mandates of NIN. So coming to my talk in the second portion, I would like to give how the food is playing an important role to maintain the health. Apart from that, how the non-communicable diseases at community level, especially in Indian context, how they are playing an important role, and what are the things that we need to take measures to address those things. As we know that food is the first line treatment of any diseases. Without proper diet, no disease can cure. That everyone knows. Considering the classification of nutrients, actually 6 major nutrients to be there in our daily intake food. Those are considered into macro and micro elements. I think you know there is no need to discuss again. Carbohydrates, proteins, minerals, vitamins, fats, and water. More than 90% of the body is having water. I think we know. So these are the national and international agencies which are working on these kind of the studies. The first thing is Diabetic Federation, Cholesterol Education Program, World Health Organization, and European, whatever the organizations. According to these organizations, what they are telling is majority of the non-communicable diseases to be addressed if we will attend the proper recommended dietary allowance. Majority, more than 84% of the non-communicable diseases can be cured if we will attend the proper diet as per the recommended dietary allowance. But the other side, half of the adult population at global level is suffering by malnutrition and lifestyle diseases. These are the lifestyle diseases as we know. Next slide, please. See the projections. These are the WHO projections. By 2050, the world needs to tackle to feed estimated 9 billion population on Earth. 9 billion population on Earth. But at the outset, the major problem here is non-communicable diseases, relation with the street foods and junk foods. Because the developed nations, though they are coming up with the street foods and junk foods like pizzas and burgers and whatever, blah, 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 we are talking, they are taking very good measures to maintain the healthy aspects. And these kind of the foods they are introducing into the fragile countries as well as the underdeveloped countries. That is the major problem that we need to address. So while considering all these things, the WHO in 2015 has come up with 13 strategic goals. The 13 strategic goals here are, the first goal is we need to attain purified water, drinking water, purified drinking water, and the healthy food, and the food which are having the essential minerals rather than the quantity of carbohydrates. And we need to reduce the trans fatty acid level, which needs to increase the MUFA and PUFA, polyunsaturated fatty acids and monounsaturated fatty acids, which can be considered while using the different cooking oils, we can able to reach that one. And they have already come up also. Among these problems, micronutrient malnutrition is one of the plague, especially the country like India. Micronutrient malnutrition. We need to address. This is the major burden. The problem here is this malnutrition issue globally, it is there. But coming to the Indian context, the micronutrient malnutrition problem is very complex. If you could consider one household, there can be both stunted children from undernutrition with mothers who are overweight from overnutrition. This is the biggest challenging, especially in the clinical scientists who are working in these areas at community level. So again, this is, I'm sorry for the business slide. This is the Lancet paper published in 2019, madam. This paper says that the global data, you see, the iodine, even so far 2019, more than 2 billion people are at risk globally. Till iodine deficiency, though, that much research has been going on this iodine. Iron deficiency, I don't know, simply the iron deficiency we can able to easily address while taking some gongora. It is easily available. Google use. And some, the other small things while jaggery, groundnuts, till, these are the essential components which we can address this iron lacuna in human beings. But the one problem, the genetic problem also was identified in Indian population, sir. Actually, when compared to the European population, the iron bioavailability in India is very less. The reason behind is there is the non-nutrient called as the phytic acid. The phytic acid, when the absorption has been initiated after digestion takes place, iron is supposed to reach to the liver and it is involving into the metabolic process. But what is happening in our studies was, actually we published already many papers in this directions. What we observed was the phytic acid is available in the 3 isomers. So among the 3 isomers, one isomer is predominantly preventing the efficacy of iron bioabsorption to the liver. Of course, hopefully in a couple of years, we may sort out this problem from NIN. And the zinc deficiency, as we know, this is also one of the essential element which more than 100 enzymes activities depends on zinc as the cofactor. More than 100 enzymes are depending. Of course, as followed by the all water soluble vitamins, vitamin A, everything is deficient. Next, this is the situation globally, the macro and micro element, next deficiencies. So what are the malnutrition problems at a community level? Again, when we are classifying into the malnutrition problem, the undernutrition, of course, it is there since the beginning, but recent years, overnutrition. In the undernutrition, imbalanced diet, of course, these are the essential components that we need to address from diet. And coming to the overnutrition, obesity, overweight, these two leads to the CVDs and CHDs, cardiovascular diseases and coronary heart diseases. Next slide, please. So again, I'm sorry to say that in 2021, there is a global hunger index score trend in Indian context at globally. You see, out of 116 countries has been evaluated in hunger context, the India stands at 101. The other side, economically, we are almost giving competition to the US, and we are now standing at rank number 50, if I am right, economically. But health-wise, this is the problem. Again, shockingly, as I mentioned, to know that the country which is second largest food producer in the world, lacking to meet food resources at community level. So these are the things that we need. You see, the malnutrition projections just globally. These are the non-fragile countries. You see non-fragile countries, how they are maintaining, and fragile countries. and extremely fragile countries. Of course, when we are talking about the malnutrition issues, only 3 things that we need to address. The first thing is anemia. Anemia is all over there globally. But to address this problem while initiating the people, that means initiation in the sense, educating the people at community level, how we are taking the measures to address this issue is the important. As far as the WHO targets, by 2025, whatever so-called the percentage of anemia in India, 54 in a recent National Family Health Survey report, 5th, it is shown that the India the anemia problem is more than 56%, sir. But WHO concern, they are telling that by 2025, these 2 digit figures must have to come to the single digit. That means below 9. Is it possible just during couple of years? Even by 2030 also, our efforts are being very lacuna to meet. But when compared to the others, like the midday meal programs and Anganwadi sectors, all these things, the other Asian, our neighbor countries, Malaysia, Singapore, all these things, they adopted our policies from India, and they are tremendously implementing at community level to address all these kind of the things. So this we need to come with the extreme disseminating of the knowledge in terms of the nutritional activities. There, next slide, please. You see. Again, the undernutrition in India remains shockingly high, despite the impressive reduction has been seen only in the stunting last decade. Just only stunting. The wasted people and the undernourished people are very much high in terms in Indian population when compared to the other Asian countries. This risk is continuous, goes to especially the adolescent girls, women and children, socially and economically deprived communities at community level. And this is actually the reason behind this undernutrition in Indian context is, according to the United Nations Population Fund Agency, 50% of the women in India are married before they turn 18 in the violation of law, especially this is the rural data. So due to this reason, we are producing 30% of the children born with low birth weight, and 7 million are potentially wasted and stunted at community level. Of course, as I mentioned, WHA and WHO, they have given 2025 targets. These, whatever the figures which are showing, they need to come back into the single digit, but I think it is not possible even by 2030 also. The policies which we are next initiating in Indian context, you see, the malnutrition deficiency children in India. This is the comprehensive national nutrition survey report, 1618. Of course, research report has been come. You see, anemia still, the children age groups between 1 to 4, 40%. Of course, there is a huge gap. There was a controversy between the comprehensive national nutrition survey and the National Family Health Survey reports, because the National Family Health Survey 5th report has shown that this data is 52%, but it is 46. Of course, even the ferritin deficiency, while iron absorption will be considering, this is the data in different age groups, as well as the folate deficiency, though the supplementation programs has been initiated long back, the iron and folate deficiency is there. Vitamin B12 deficiency is also prevalence in adolescent age boys and girls between 10 to 18 years. Vitamin A deficiency, vitamin D, of course, the country is such a beautiful country. We have already the sun, these things, but we are not utilizing properly. Zinc deficiency, as I mentioned. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Okay. So while considering all these things, the country is severely suffering with triple burden of diseases. These are the major things actually. The first thing is macronutrient malnutrition. When we are considering the macronutrient malnutrition, sir mentioned already, the protein concentration is more in one of the variety of tobacco. Am I right, sir? One of the variety of tobacco. But you see, sir, we are severely suffering with protein energy malnutrition here at community level, as well as the severe energy malnutrition in the children population. So this macronutrient malnutrition, protein energy malnutrition, clinical as well as the subclinical. Coming to the micronutrient, again, the same thing, vitamin A, iodine, folic acid, zinc, and iron deficiencies, diet related. These are the non-communicable diseases. Sorry, they're non-communicable diseases. So if we'll have a look into the diabetic mellitus, because now everyone, I think most of the things, even I'm also pre-diabetic. Though I'm a nutrition scientist, I'm also pre-diabetic. Then you can consider that how the people are engaging at a community level. I don't want to take much time here. Among the 3 types of diabetic, my interest here is gestational diabetic mellitus. The global data here about the gestational diabetic, only 14 out of every 100 pregnant women are suffering with gestational diabetic at global level. only 14. But coming to the Indian context, 18 out of 100. 18 out of 100 are pregnant females severely suffering with gestational diabetic mellitus. And these are the consequences during the pregnancy. At the time of delivery also very problematic issues if the pregnant woman is suffering with gestational diabetic mellitus. Next slide, please. You see the projections and the world epidemics from 2011 to 2030. Of course, now the total world population is this much. To be expected by 2030 is 8.3. And the adult population, of course, coming to the diabetic, the global prevalence is 8.3. By 2030, it is close to 10. And a number of people with diabetic mellitus in millions are only 336 millions. By 2030, almost it is double. Just during 2 decades, it is double. Next slide, please. Of course, the hypertension. Majority earlier studies were shown that the hypertension problem or diabetic problem is there only in the cities, especially the urban population. Next slide, please. But coming to this study, this is our Vamadevan study from one of the organizations, ICMR organizations from Mumbai. He has compared the data between the urban population as well as the rural population from 1995. The urban population, if you could see Gupta et al. 2004, in Mumbai study, actually he has considered the subjects more than 35 years, and the sample size is also close to 90,000. He found that the prevalence of hypertension in the urban population is close to 48%. You see, that indicates out of 100 people, every 48% of the people are having chance to get the coronary heart disease due to the food habits. So at the same time, the rural population, Bhardwaj et al. 2010, of course, the sample size is close to 1100 here, but it is also above 18 years age group subjects has been considered here. You see, the prevalence in the rural population is also close to 36. It is also giving strong competition to the urban population because of food habits. So nowadays, if you could consider the urban population as little bit having awareness in terms to maintain the food habits, but rural populations, this Golgappa, Pani Puri, Chaat Bandars, everything, even if you will go, I came from a small village. It is having only 50 houses, sir, from my village. Recently, I visited 6 months back. There was a Pani Puri cart, sir. Actually, these practices are really wondering. I don't know how we will come to that. And the tuberculosis. Again, our contribution is 21% to globe. It is not a difficult disease. We can easily, this is easily curable. But the only thing is lack of awareness about this one. Lack of awareness. And our contribution is 24. Even China, just you see, though population was, I think recently we crashed, no, sir? Population we crashed, the China. Just 14% only the contribution about TB. Next slide, please. You see the cancer, of course, we are the, again, leading country, especially breast cancer, as well as the colon cancer from women category. Actually, in this direction, actually, I had done one study, Hyderabad-based study. I collected green leafy vegetables and fish, sir, especially fish from Hyderabad. And I found that domoic acid is the neurotoxicant, domoic acid. Apart from that, the heavy metal content was found in the food substances. That means the pure substances, those who are grown in and around of the Musi River. Actually, I found the arsenic content and the lead content was found more in the green leafy vegetables and the fish shampoos. Of course, even the arsenic content and the lead content, if it is in the organic form, there is no problem. But arsenic is available in the 2 forms, arsenic 3 and as well as the arsenic 5. Among that, arsenic 3 is inorganic form, which is more carcinogenic and reflecting especially on the human breast cancer activities, what we found in our animal studies. Next. And so in the health status, actually the life expectancy, recently WHO released the Indian population was 71 and the crude death rate is 7.3 out of 1,000 population. Maternal mortality ratio, infant mortality, everything is there. This is the life expectancy. As I mentioned, when compared to the India, though the Bhutan, Nepal, Bangladesh and Sri Lanka are far behind in terms to maintain all the policies, but nutritionally they are little bit sound than India. Next. No, previously, yeah. So human resources, this is also WHO guidelines again. Actually, one doctor, he's supposed to address 1,000 people. But in India, it is close to 1,350 people or depending on one doctor. Here, doctor means as per the WHO concern, only MBBS, sir. But here in Indian context, doctor means including RMPs, PMPs, all Ps. It is considering into the all piece. And one nurse is also only 300, but here in India, almost a double. One health worker is this. So these are the shortfalls at community level, especially in India. The first one is health is a state subject. Again, here the political barrier, what actually I told to director sir, because if the system or a particular policy which is very much beneficial to the community has been designed by the central government, I am the ruler here in the other state governments. Why should I implement that policy has been designed by some other parties? So my concern is the people who are leading, the leader who are leading to the people is thinking about his own benefits rather than the public awareness. This is the problem. I think this issue has been under consideration of Prime Minister's group. Most probably this health issue will be considered at a national level in one umbrella soon, I think we will hope. And it is led by people who do not have the knowledge and skills, especially the health, because all of a sudden, if anything will happen to us, immediately we rush to the doctor care. Before that, we don't have prior objectives in terms how to maintain the health, as well as we don't have a long-term vision in terms of the health. Very short-term vision. Regulations are many, but the applicability is very poor at community level, as well as mobilization of the community in terms of the health assistance is very poor. And these are the actions if we will take, I think there are some changes we can see. More health insurance coverages to be need, as well as register private facilities and ensure minimum standards with government officials. Improve efficacy within the system, strengthen leadership, of course, next public health leaderships. Again, the nutrition trends research. Actually, I would like to compare actually the nutrition research policies applicability at community level among China, India, and US, you see. This is the in China. No, previous slide. This is the US, and China is also recently from 2 decades onward they started. They initiated some nutrition research and giving good attention to the public in terms to maintain the health, but still we are little behind. Of course, we need to come up with a short-term vision. Next slide, please. So these are the things again, policies at community level, even before independence. Of universal salt iodization policy has been developed, the government has come up with all these policies, but there is a huge gap from the policy makers and the implicacy people who are residing at community level. Recently, sir, actually, the FSSI director, Mr. Gautam Prasad IAS, he visited to our institute. Actually, I am having one project with the FSSI, working on, as I mentioned, the domoic acid neurotoxicant in Indian context. I discussed with him. He told one thing, sir. He doesn't know anything about food regulations and all these things. Because of government decisions, actually, I am sitting, sir, here. He said, I'm sorry, sir, I cannot help you in this regards. So what I mean here is, though we have best policies, but the only thing is the person who is looking after to implement these policies doesn't have proper knowledge. That's what, there is a huge gap. We need to connect the bridge between community to the policymakers. This is also one of the challenging things. Of course, many policies are there. Iron and folic acid supplementation, anemia. Still the anemia is more than 54%. And this policy has been initiated in 1970s, 4 or 5 decades back. Still the problem has been increasing day to day rather than coming down, the problem. And food fortification policies, now government is very, very much important. Recent in 2021 independence speech, our Honorable Prime Minister particularly has mentioned that they need to come up by 2024 with fortified foods. Next. And these are the strategies that we need to implement to diversify the food. Of course, actually, these are all not much difficult also. Home and school nutrition gardens implementations. So to sensitize the nutrition knowledge to the children, nutrition sensitivity agriculture practices with the practical nutrition as well as the agricultural scientists and the farmers and the policy makers again, farming system for nutrition studies. Of course, these are the policies. Overall, India needs to promote holistic food-based approaches to address all these policies at a community level. Next things, of course, the other issues again, what are these? Along with regulations, the other side is CO2 and CO increasing levels, carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide increasing levels because of the overconsumption of fuels and other things. Next, as I mentioned already, my plate. This is the thing. The vegetables we're supposed to attend 350 grams per day, and these are fruits 150 grams only, pulses, eggs, nuts, and everything. We need to maintain in our food plate regularly. Yeah, next. Next slide, please. Yeah, this is very important side. You please focus here. Recently, as I mentioned, 2020 RDA recommended dietary guidelines from ICMR-NIN. If a adult man, a healthy adult man who is showing 60 kg of weight, he's supposed to meet 2,700 kilocalories per day. Rather than that, his actual intake is only 2,000 kilocalories. This is the deficiency in India. But India is the only country which are showing this much gap among the kilocalories between original intake as well as the actual intake. And an adult woman, if you could see, if she is having 65 kgs of weight, she is supposed to attain 2,200 kilocalories of energy. Rather than that, 1,700 only she is meeting. Again, 500 kilocalories gap is there. Like that in all age groups, pregnant women, lactating mothers, the children age groups from 1 to 17 years. This is the actual intake, and this is the intake to be meeting every day. And this is the gap. Huge gap is there. The only problem what we are identifying and need to address is community mobilization. Community mobilization is most important here. That's what we need to construct a strong and big bridge between the community as well as the policymakers. Next slide, actually. And these are the projects. Actually, we had a project with your organization, ICAR, this consortium research platform on crop biofortification. We already analyzed more than 400 varieties of rice, mangoes, and many other foods, and which we identified the protein quality, zinc and iron quantities are more, sir, which have been developed by the Rice Research Institute, there, Rajendra Nagar. And these are the these things. And as I mentioned already, this is the chronic kidney disease where I am working, funded by ICMR. And the recent projects, as I discussed with the director, sir, this is the value-added product regarding, I took it over into improve the hemoglobin levels in pregnant women. Actually, the Opensia elator, you know that one already. We have been, it is in Telugu, it is called as Rakisa Pandu, sir. Rakisa, Opensia elator. This is having a tremendous nutritional activities. We are coming to develop one food-based recipe using this Opensia, recently funded by this Ayush Ministry. Next one. And the other project is also, this is other important project, as I mentioned, one of the indigenous foods. And the other important thing here is, India is the richest hub of indigenous foods. But while coming to the utilization, we are far behind than any other countries. So in this direction, actually, what we were done was actually, I identified one indigenous foods being consumed by the people who are residing in the dense forest area. That is called as the mahua. That is Ippapuvu in Telugu. Ippapuvu. And I brought into the laboratory, analyzed the nutritional composition. Interestingly, the thing I found was iron levels, calcium, zinc, along with the macro elements, protein and dietary fiber was very high. The carbohydrate as well as the trans fat acid level was very low, sir. Because as I mentioned in my previous slides, though we are attending the iron quantity along with our diet, but when it is considering into Fe+2, Fe+3, during the efficacy, the Fe+3 absorption was strongly prevented by the non-nutrient phytic acid. Because of our diet is having not having proper amount of the dietary fiber, which is supporting element to promote the efficacy of iron. But coming to this mahua, that means maduka, it is having the dietary fiber value is more. So after digestion takes place, whatever the iron availability in the form of Fe+3, it was supported by the dietary fiber and preventing the activity of phytic acid. The absorption efficacy of this iron from maduka is better than any other foods what we are consuming in our regular life. That's what this study was promoted by the Honorable Governor Andhra Pradesh, and actually I am coordinating at state level. And we conducted one intervention study using this mahua recipe on 3,000 pregnant tribal women was the subjects. The hemoglobin levels was tremendously increased. Now, this is slow. Actually, we discussed with Honorable Chief Minister KCR Garu as well as the Chief Secretary and the other expertise in health aspects, sir. This laddu supposed to include in the KCR nutrition kit because of a little bit fighting between the governor and the KCR, actually in the first phase, it was not included in the KCR kit. Otherwise, this laddu would be included in the KCR kit. No, madam. Actually, mahua is only 40%. The rest 60% are other ingredients. Yeah, next slide, please. This is the mahua laddu. And these are the nutritional facts, what we have done in our laboratory. This is an important study. It is giving more practices. And recently, actually, one UK company, they approached to me, and now we are working it to transport and the other deliverable studies on this mahua at a national level with with the collaboration of ICMR. And if director sir will permit, I want to include even your staff also, sir. Couple of staffs in this study I would like to include.
Yeah, I've already tested. This is very good, actually.
Yeah.
With the Sreenivasa Rao's lab, I've tested a really good test. Taste-wise, I can say, I don't know about the nutritional facts and all, but taste-wise is really good. Because you said the taste is given more importance than the nutrition in India.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
I think that you already covered.
No,
Yeah.
we consider, while preparing the laddu itself, we consider, sir, according to the RDA only we prepare.
Yeah.
And here it is meeting more than 70% of the zinc and iron from only this mahua laddu. And when the tribal women were consumed, sir, their hemoglobin levels during 6 months has gone up like anything. Now the governor madam has taken up this study at state level, and I am coordinating, especially the study is intervention with the adolescent girls and boys right now in Telangana state. I discussed with recently, the last month when we met the Andhra Pradesh CM and the principal secretary in government of Andhra Pradesh, they accepted, but this IIIT people initially they asked me to initiate as the pilot study. This is the thing. Next slide, please. Yeah, these are the things. Actually, when we initiated the study, Honorable Governor Madam has been invited myself and my director, Dr. Hemlata Garu. Actually, we approached and we discussed with her. The same study, the Honorable Governor was presented in Governors Conference at New Delhi in Parliament Office. She got first prize among the all 28 states and 8 union territories. This Maho study she presented there in Parliament Hall. Yeah, next slide, please. Actually, okay, food analysis, this is not next. Food analysis, significance of tools, what we are using next. Yeah, chemical substances, these are the things that we need to utilize and analyze from the laboratories. Next. Yeah, the classification, when we are considering the classification of nutrients, macronutrients, as we know, carbohydrates, lipids, proteins, and water. And the major minerals which are playing an important role in terms of the metabolic activities in human beings are these things. And the micronutrients coming under trace minerals. Of course, the deficiencies, what we discussed already. Next slide. And coming to the food chemistry laboratory in NIN, these are the things to be considered for the analysis. Actually, nitrogen-free extraction, moisture content is playing an important role while considering the nutritional studies. Crude fiber, as I mentioned, the crude fiber can be classified into, again, soluble and insoluble fiber, dietary fiber. These are all coming under the proximate analysis. Crude protein, yes, as well as the crude lipid is nothing but the total fat, which includes monounsaturated, polyunsaturated, and trans fat also. Next. Of course, white means you know already, fat soluble and water soluble. Next, these things are also we are considering. Fats and fatty acids, saturated and unsaturated fats, poly and monounsaturated. Next slides. And the other important thing which I would like to share with you is heavy metals in our diet, as I mentioned already. So these 6 are the major heavy metals in our regular diet. We are yet minimum limitations we are attaining along with our diet. Of course, among these, the mercury and arsenic are playing an important role to promote bad habits. Sorry, in our health, especially the arsenic. It is available in the 2 forms, arsenic 5 and arsenic 3. And our diet is also having the polyphenols, even the tobacco, as I discussed with sir, tobacco is also having tremendous polyphenols, even organic acids also, along with protein and dietary fiber. Sorry, thank you. And the carotenoid contents, these things next, we need to address from this. Okay, coming to the analysis part. Microwave accelerated, these are all available in our laboratory. Ours is the world-class analytical laboratory, which I can say. This is the MARS system and a microwave accelerated reaction system. So the purpose of this system is we have a sample. but we need to consider almost all the periodic table elements in a single run. So to do that kind of the analysis, we need this instrument. So the sample to be placed here, there is a program have been already developed. So after development of the program, after indicating after 40 minutes, this is the temperature we need to maintain. The sample has digested the completely, and whatever the sample is there, it can be extracted next using. These are the applications of the instrument next using this one, ICP-MS. This is called as inductively coupled plasma mass spectroscopy. So the quantification of this instrument beauty is we can able to trace even at PPT level. Nanogram level also we can trace. Even from a single element, single sample, we can come up with more than 80 elements just within 2 minutes. The duration of analysis is only 2 minutes, sir. Actually, in India, I am the first scientist standardized the methods using ICP-MS in NIN. Thereafter, my PhD students are working here. So, and this is the beauty of this instrumentation. The sensitivity is more than 100 times than the other instruments like ICP-OES and AAS. Next one, AAS is also there. So this is AAS, atomic absorption spectroscopy. This also we can use for the mineral analysis. But the difference here is using AAS, at a time we can use only one element analysis. But I see, of course, cost difference is also there. This is only 30 lakhs, that is 1.5 crore. But at the same time, benefits are also there. Next one. Okay, rota evaporator. This is especially for the protein as well as carotenoid analysis. Once the sample has been processed, the processed sample can be evaporated using this instrument, and thereafter we can inject into the UPLC, ultra performance liquid chromatography. Next. This is the UPLC. So while using UPLC, my laboratory is having, we have already 12 UPLCs. Recently, we procured already 12. Each UPLC cost is 45 lakh. Already, we have already 12 UPLCs. The individual UPLCs, we are using it for individual parameters, like organic acid is exclusively for one UPLC, sir. Like carotenoids, one. Water soluble vitamins, one. Fat soluble vitamins, one. Polyphenols, one. Like that, we developed already the methods, and we are using next. And this is the LCMS, liquid chromatography mass spectra. So this instrument is also very sensitive, which we can use for the characterization of the molecule, individual characterization of the molecule. We can even, any unknown molecules are also there. We can easily able to trace it out using this LCMS after development of the method. Next. And this is protein analyzer. Of course, everyone, we know that how the protein is playing an important role in our body to maintain the metabolic system as well as the cellular mechanism. This system, we have already 4 units in our laboratory. Many samples has been coming all over the world, and we are giving directions, and just we are training the people are also who are coming from SAARC countries as well as the WHO, FAO people. Next. So gas chromatography, this is one of the most important instrument, which is playing to detect the trans fats, monounsaturated fats, and polyunsaturated fats from oils and whatever the samples. Recently, as I mentioned, the CDC USA funded project, we are coming up with the trans fat acid data at national level. Sir, one important thing here is, even so far we analyzed more than 3,000 human samples, sir. And we compared the data with the CDC. What we found was, the trans fatty acid levels when compared to American people, Indian people are more. Again, the problem is food regulations and the FSSAI policies, which are not being properly implemented at community level. Next. So biochemical analyzer, we know whatever the biochemical parameters, including lipid profiles, kidney profiles, everything has been analyzed using this one. This recently I procured from ICMR funded project. Next. And this is hot air balloon, of course, to calculate the moisture as well as the ash. Next. Okay. So what are the projections? Actually, just 2 minutes, I will wind up my talk. What are the projections that we need to take up in Indian context? It has been the forefront in developing national food and nutritional databases. We have already excellent database, and we are undertaking research studies and surveys documenting the ongoing agriculture, food, nutrition, and health transitions. But the only thing is, there is no much collaboration among the organizations who are working in this direction in India. There is no much collaboration. When I am proposing one study, the same kind of objective study has been proposed by some other scientists from some other organizations. So rather than that, since from 5 years, in the second year, the government after Modi, second government has been initiated, most collaboration studies are welcome. And when we are proposing the studies with collaboration, the fund availability is also very much encouraged by the agencies. That's what these kind of the studies are very much need. And actually the scientists, or the Indian scientists, we are contributed substantially to the global efforts to review the ongoing transitions in evolve appropriate definition of food security, recommendations, and human nutrient requirements, everything, but still there is a lack in. We are also utilize the evolving knowledge in terms improve food and nutrition security, ensure that the ongoing food supplementation chain programs at community level, as well as nationalize and improve ongoing nutrition interventions aimed at prevention, early detection, and effective management of under and over nutrition activities at community level. Next, and of course, there are some challenges also. Non-communicable diseases. That is the most important barrier that the Indian people need to address on immediate basis. Non-communicable diseases. So this non-communicable diseases is completely relevant to the food-based approaches. If you will change your food approaches, majority of the risks related to the non-communicable diseases has been come down. But who will give the sensitization to the people not to use these unwanted foods? Those they are very much tasty rather than the conventional foods what we are regularly attending from the market. This is important things. Of course, the nutrition research output is disproportionately low when considering its large population, and several drawbacks are also there at a community level. Considering into the public health concern, nutrition policies need to come up next. Yeah, thank you very much. And one more thing I would like to say thanks to you. Yes, Saileja Mungaru mentioned that I am the first person from outside of ICAR organization. Oh, thank you very much, and it is a great honor to me. Yeah. 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 If any questions, please.
Very good thoughts. Really, very interesting. Please have this in between. I'll talk for 1 or 2 minutes. Then we can go for the discussion. Yeah, I think friends, you are saying how important Dr.J. Sreenivasa Rao, who came all the way from Hyderabad and given a very thought-provoking talk about what NIN is doing, their mandates, mandates are very clearly doing in different activities, and the status of nutrition status of India, how we are far beyond than the countries like Singapore, Malaysia, even sometimes in Bangladesh, and how these communicable diseases, non-communicable diseases are coming, and how the lifestyle diseases are coming, where we are falling short. Those things you really talked nicely, and then he talked about the methods to analyze and how NIN is equipped with the very latest machinery to deal with. And also they are developing a databases for the Indian agriculture, Indian foods especially, and the importance of ethnic foods and the importance of the local conventional foods, how we are not able to take, although we have a lot of diversity and this thing. And the topic is really relevant to us, sir, because we deal with the agriculture and we deal with the food making. You mentioned one of the slide that India is a second in a food producing country. That's correct. 530 million tons we are producing, and still you said that in a hunger index somewhere I have written 110 out of 116, which is really alarming. And I first time I did not see this data very carefully, but where it is going, that is another issue where we are talking in our agriculture, that distribution, perhaps availability also a problem. Still, one side we are getting a malnutrition, other side in urban population we are seeing overnutrition. Both are coming in parallelly and coming in a huge scale. Coming to the my institute level, although tobacco is not that nutrition and health point of view, I think it is a entirely contrasting crop. But leave it about tobacco. We have other crops like chili, turmeric, ashwagandha. Turmeric and ashwagandha, I feel they are very really important crops for the point of view, the nutrition, or maybe point of view, the some corrections in somewhere to the some lifestyle diseases which are coming very heavily. There, I think we need to talk more, and even the castor has many compounds which has used in a different products. So I think these 2-3 crops we have, and then we can take your expertise advice in the afternoon after lunch. But regarding talk, I'm really impressed the way you packed the whole talk, and very importantly, you given very good things. And regarding your mandate of giving a support to the existing food regulatory authorities, one of the things you told about aflatoxin in some of the crops, but in aflatoxin is also there in chili. That is also one of the major deterrent for the export, yeah, because they don't know chili how much should be there and how should be allowed and how to detect. I think even for this spice board is really required this kind of this thing. We are the now kind of a nodal agency in a commercial to go ahead. I think we'll take that, your help in aflatoxin contamination detections in different lots in the chili and different places, and so that we can have some strategies to reduce those aflatoxin. And coming to the nutritional value of one of your mandates, I think still I don't know, maybe my scientists know how much is the RDA for the curcumin, and whether curcumin, because you know very well during COVID times, everybody taken this adding a turmeric in everywhere, milk, tea, and even in the wherever we had to add less in a curries. Now after the corona, they're adding 2 more spoons. So how much is really required curcumin, and whether we can take directly, if it takes more, what will happen, and how much is available, bioavailability. When you take also, people says that it should be added with oil and it cannot be taken directly. I don't know all those things. I think we can discuss on that. And one of your mandate, I really liked it, the basic research. There we can pitch in both CTRI and NIRCA and your NIN can be chip in there. And then Ashwagandha is the one crop which we have a really, you also know, now that is coming in a very big scale, but still their basic data are missing. Ashwagandha's different compounds are there, but compounds when what should be taken and how much should be taken, and those formulations are really okay or not, those are all not there. I think that there we can start. So these are the points which I taken from your presentation. Excellent presentation. I really enjoyed, and a lot of information you given. And yeah, of course, Mova Laddu I have tested and it was so tasty. Taste wise, I know very well. It is really good taste. I think we will support you in a popularizing here also, whatever possible in our domain. We will also take you in this thing. Okay, thank you very much. And now I welcome the, I will open this seminar for discussion. Anybody having any doubts or anything to clarify, please go ahead. Yeah. Wait a minute.
Thank you so much, sir. You gave a lot of information. It was really very benefiting for us. Sir, my question is, sir, while explaining this iron deficiency between Indian population and European population, you have told that phytic acid isomers are playing a much role. Is it a genetic control or that phytic acid isomers? Because when we are taking mahua, Fe3 plus absorption will be more if phytic acid is less, and if you increase the dietary fiber. So in the genetic, is it genetically controlled, that phytic acid? Because of that only we are different from European population?
No, sir. Yeah, the question is very valid. Here the thing is, what I mean to try to tell you is, when the iron is available in the free form of Fe plus 3, the efficacy can be pushed out by the dietary fiber, that is in the form of soluble dietary fiber. During intake of our diet, it is lacuna. When we are taking this mahua, that means mahua laddu, along with the free iron availability, the phytic acid content also will be more. It is preventing the inhibition properties of phytic acid and helping to absorb the available iron content. That is the, not genetically. Of course, it may be any chances are also there, but we need to come up with studies.
Yeah, and genetical analysis may be there, but that we may not know. We
Yes,
don't
sir.
know yet. But definitely the phytic acid will inhibit the iron
Exactly.
absorption.
Exactly.
And that is the one of the major limitation. Even in many of the rice varieties, biofortified rice varieties now having high iron, but not available because of high phytic acid. So that's why low phytic acid also a biofortified. It can be a biofortified. Yeah.
Whether this phytic acid is the same which is produced more quantities in mango. Recently, I heard that mango has some properties to increase body heat, and they were recommending like dipping or soaking mangoes in water before consumption to reduce the phytic acid content. Did you hear about this?
Yeah, phytic acid
in mango?
content definitely it would reduce, madam, but the heating generation is depends on xanthophyll content is more in mango. Xanthophyll content is more, but I don't think so that if you will soak the mango or any other foods in water, I don't know the phytic acid levels will be come down. I'm not sure.
And another thing, I don't want to ask about your secret composition of mahua laddu, but we have a tree, mahua tree in our guest house. Whether if we consume the flowers of the mahua tree, so many fall off, whether there can be any toxic properties in the flowers or it is edible.
It is edible, madam, but you need to process properly.
Okay.
You need to because sir, earlier also studies was there. Dr. Meenakshi from NIN, Dr. Meenakshi from NIN has done one study. She has extracted oil from mahua seed, not from flower. And when she was done the studies, she found that infertility problem was found in male rat. So that's what actually the oil consumption after extraction of mahua seed is not advisable. That's what my focus is particularly on the flower.
Flower has no
edible. Yeah. Avunu sir, avunu. Yeah. Now, but it was also just commercial.
Yeah.
Bhadrachalam Prasad. Yes, ma'am. Yeah. The problem is now this tribal people, no sir. వాళ్ళకి మత్తు సరిపోవట్లేదు మేడం. What they are doing is during the fermentation, along with mahua, they are adding it ammonia and urea also. That's what in Telangana state, the tribal population is very dense population, and they are suffering. The prevalence of chronic kidney diseases in tribal population is 30%, 37%, madam, in Telangana. It is the highest prevalence state of CKD problems in tribal people among the Indian states. That is the problem. Ma'am.
Sunnunda, they will consider it as a highly rich in iron. Whether we can compare both of them, or we can take, because mahua is having a lot of other social problems.
Social problems?
You are telling mahua intoxication also some
No,
people used to say.
actually, madam,
That is
when we initiated the intervention studies on human subjects, before that we need to get clarification from regulations, regulatory bodies. No, ma'am. That's what initially we have done, and we succeeded. The efficacy studies, toxicity studies, preclinical studies also using rat model. And the interesting thing is, actually, I am again the first person who brought the rodents, that is called as the gerbills, from US. I procured and I developed the colonies in NIN. Actually, earlier studies was there. The rat model, when you consider the metabolic system, it is only 63% similar to the human metabolic system. But coming to the rodent model, like what we are talking is this gerbil, almost 91% metabolic activities are similar to the human beings. Actually, the efficacy studies and toxicity studies has been done on these rodent models with the mahua, madam. Thereafter only, after getting the regulatory bodies approval, then we approached to the government of Telangana, and we had done the intervention study on tribal pregnant women. And excellent result also just we got. Yeah. The comparison wise also I am telling, yes, you are right. The dietary fiber is playing an important role, madam. So in Sunnunda also, what you call the Sunnunda, the phytic acid level also is matter again here. In millets, the phytic acid level is also more.
More.
Yeah, yes, sir. Black gram, especially black gram. That problem is also there.
Sir, recently during my conversation with the cardiologist, so he has narrated one story about iron intake or iron inhibition materials. So most of the majority of the Indians, especially are during Corona period, are taking nuts. Immediately taking followed by coffee. So coffee taking immediately after taking nuts inhibit the, release of iron. Don't go for that. Give a gap of at least 1 hour.
Yes, sir. That is absorption efficacy is prevented by, again, I think some mechanism, because again the nuts means along with trans fatty acids, the phytic acid almost quantity will be more. Coffee, I think there would be some, I am not sure, sir, but there would be some relation in terms of the mechanism between caffeine and these components.
Even in general meetings also provide nuts followed by coffee.
Well, the other end, we are telling them not to take, but at the same time, the official meetings, we are following it up.
So thank you, sir, for your nice presentation. Sir, you have very good number of instruments in your lab. Actually, we are facing one problem with TSNE, sir, tobacco-specific nitrosamine estimation at our institute because of lack of instrumentation. So with your rich experimentation, instrument facility, can we collaborate for estimation of TSNA with your institute?
Yeah, why not, madam? We can not only TSNA, madam, even the other components.
Because we are having some genome editing project on TSNA, sir. So that's why I was asking. Maybe with other pesticide residue analysis and all, maybe we can have.
Okay, madam. If it is not possible from my laboratory, just I will give the interactions with CTRI, sorry, IACT scientists also. IACT scientists.
Sir, another
my friends are there, sir, actually. They are working it on this pesticide analysis components and everything.
No, pesticide we will take with ICT. We have a collab already MOUs already ICT. But what the madam has some of the tobacco specific nitrosamines estimation may be required the LCMS or your ICP.
Yeah, we can, sir.
I think that is the starting point now. That is the reason I invited Sreenivasa Rao here. Now we will take up the MOU with NIN so that some of the collaborative works or maybe sometimes the paid also, but there will be a priority given to the people who are already having a collaboration with them. Otherwise, they are having a lot of samples. I know those instruments what he shown. He said HPLC 12, HPLC 12 are there, but 12 are full. I've seen his lab, around 30 to 40 students are there that day. So it is very busy lab but when we enter into a kind of understanding with the NIN, I think they will be given a priority in analysis and we can also depute 1 or 2 scientists for a week and then they will assist to the sample preparation and then analysis can be done. I think that is a step now. So definitely we'll take into that.
Sir, another issue is, sir, castor generally is being used for this cleaning of stomach and all, so many uses. So we are having castor as one of the mandate crop. Maybe we can come up with some of the formulations of castor for medicinal purposes, for this purpose. Maybe it's one thing.
Not only cancer.
Laxatives.
Yeah.
Sir,
not only cancer, even sir mentioned some other important.
yes, sir, Aswagandha and all those things. Also.
Yeah, sure, madam. Just we'll plan it.
Sir, another one thing is, sir, as you said, it is very actually with balanced nutrition, definitely we can reduce the lifestyle diseases, sir. Actually, I follow one Dr. Vishwarup Rai Chaudhary. I don't know whether you heard his name, medical nutritionist, sir. And as you said, like your plate, you are telling me, sir, he is also recommending like half of the plate, 2 plates you will recommend, sir. 1 plate with raw foods, fruits and vegetables, and another fruit with all home cooked foods. Actually, I am live examples, sir. With balanced diet, how can we reduce the this diabetic levels. Even in the during Corona period, also I advised so many of my close friends and relatives to reduce when that diabetic levels increase to higher levels with food only, sir. Actually, not only that one food, sir. One you take one laddu or something. It's not going to. What that's my general observation, sir. Since 2016, I'm just closely following this thing. So not one food, sir. It's a balanced diet. What I generally observe is some raw fruits, foods, and including some different diets, particularly the diets which our ancestors are using, sir. Like our grandmas, which are they are preparing even that foods, even oily also that found to be better compared to the foods which, as you said, that all are junk foods and all. Reducing those junk foods and this what is processed foods and all those things. If it and then milk also, sir. It seems milk also is playing a role in inflammation and all those things. Reducing the milk intake, milk processed foods of milk and all those things.
Yes, ma'am.
So these are some of the things, sir. Really, sir, it works. Actually, I know that I advised so many people, and even I am the one of the beneficiary of balanced food to reduce the diabetic levels, sir. Actually, since 2016, without any medicine, actually, I could manage my sugar levels without with balanced diet only, sir. But we have to take a little care only, not very big care to manage these foods, sir. That's what I generally
that's what,
observe, sir.
madam. Actually, the experts are telling more
Yes,
than 80% of NCDs can be controlled if you use the balance.
Actually, I did some course with advanced nutrition with Dr. Vishuruprai Chaudhary, sir. Actually, he's having one big hospital, so many groups he's maintaining. So in that he could reduce, sir, actually within 3 days of 7 to 2 hours. Sir. That is he call it as a DIP diet, sir. Actually, disciplines and intelligence diet. DIP diet means it disciplined way and intelligent way it releases the nutrients into the system.
Your mind system is also one of the important.
Yes, sir.
It will
Yes,
play
sir.
important role, madam.
Yes,
And
sir.
once upon a time, what you have said, our ancient people, the millets was the main food grain for them. And in those days, that was the poor people's food. Now,
even so that chimili also there's functions they give because of this only, keeping that nutrition value, and also that soaked dal also as the list functions also they used to give as a balanced diet actually. So actually not one, sir.
But madam, I have I mean, I think he can make it very clear that we talk, I mean, nowadays a lot of importance giving to the food, balanced food and all. But I am also like you from the small village. There were so many people who eat very normal food, doesn't have any kind of diseases, nothing. I feel it's food with metabolic rate of your person and the environment where you are living. All these three things together works. It is not the only the food. If you eat a food like I know my own colleague Suman Kalyani has decided his own customized food. Taking one day, she doesn't take rice at all. I mean, she's enemy to me because I am from the rice family. So I mean, like that doesn't work. The works is based on your metabolic rate, BMR. BMR, the one which you maintain over the years, how you are maintaining, and the food and the environment where you're working.
Definitely.
Means what you are doing. Are you like me just sitting? Are some people who can, like my old colleague is retired, sir, he doesn't look like retired. So I mean just retired, of course. Yeah. So that depends. So it cannot be generalized based on any other, but definitely now availability of food is very good. Very good. I mean, that's the contribution of ICR, sir. I mean, must tell you that it's revolutionary. Once upon a time, the pomegranates availability was so less. We have now pomegranates availability is good. Papaya, grapes, whatever fruits. Earlier in my childhood days, the fruits will be consumed only when a person gets a sick. Or even bread
during sick
only sick time. Now it is not like that.
Everyone.
Even breakfast you can have, lunch everywhere. I mean, like you have a availability is plenty, but At the same time, BMR levels are going
Sir,
down.
that BMR level, sir, we have to walk, sir. Actually, with food, at least
Yeah,
20 minutes.
That's what
Yes,
Sari
sir.
is telling.
That's what there are 3-4 things
Yes, sir.
actually.
Walking and exposure
Along
to
with-
sunlight.
Along with food, madam,
Yes,
physical activity and
sunlight.
stress management.
Stress
Yeah.
management.
Stress
Yes, sir. Positive mindset.
So that is what environment where you are working.
Exactly,
The
yeah.
person who working in the field doesn't have any tension. They doesn't have a report. They
Yes,
doesn't have a report to send somebody to convince somebody.
Exactly, yeah.
His work is to complete the transplanting
That's it,
today
sir, yeah.
and go happily. End of the day, because the sleep. I mean, there are so many other
sir.
things.
All-
These are all,
sir,
I mean, these are all the may not be our domain,
Sir, even sir,
especially.
food also the way how you take and when to take everything matters, sir.
Yeah, yeah.
Everything,
So-
balance of
Yeah, but
our lifestyle.
but the
Brother.
NIN is doing a very good pioneering work in nutritive value of those foods.
Yes.
Earlier, we don't know. I mean, as you said, many people are eating this thing, that thing. We don't know whether we are eating correct or not.
Yes, sir.
So nutrition value they're bringing and they're making a database of that.
Yes.
Because people says that some of the varieties of rice also have high protein. We don't know. DJ Mahaputra sir, my chairman earlier, he was telling that he developed a variety. He does not know he has 11-12%, which is abnormal in rice. It is only 4%,
Protein.
but they developed a protein of 11%.
Great.
But they don't know what protein it is, what amino acids they have.
I see. Okay.
Really, they have a less, I mean, good amino acids or not.
Exactly.
Those
Essential
can,
acids.
I mean, NAN only helped later,
Yes,
but that kind of things are coming up. So we can now use judiciously those knowledge in taking our food and
Yes.
selecting our food.
Everything, sir. Food
Yeah.
and your lifestyle
Exactly.
matters a lot.
Yeah, yeah,
Not only, but food is a major part.
yeah, yeah, good. But the castor one, I think is a good suggestion we can take up. Yeah. LK, ahead of the now post-harvested value addition. He just
Thank you,
became
sir.
2 days
You,
back.
uh,
Yeah.
You talked about some of the heavy metals, arsenic and then lead through the agriculture or the vegetables and all. So there are studies in bioaccumulation and all. So such type of studies done in NIN, sir, bioaccumulation of the arsenic and all.
Yes, sir. Yeah, that depends on samples, sir. Now, if you will send any kind of the samples before going to value-added products development initiated,
Yeah,
I think we need to come up what kind of the water you are using it for the grown of your
Yeah.
for this one as well as the soil. Everything need to be tested.
Yes, yes.
Thereafter, only we will come to know that what are the heavy metal content or what are the any other adverse effects will be there. How we will reduce those quantities.
Yes.
They,
We did
before-
an endogenetic plains, sir, there in Patna and Bihar.
Okay.
So there the recent accumulation of arsenic in the groundwater in and then vegetables and how the got
Yeah, this problem is there in West Bengal also. The colleague from West Bengal, Dinahata, the Partha Saha is there. I think their arsenic and lead is more in their soils and water.
Yes.
So that was the
Substitute
issue even in the
for
rice. Yeah, that was the issue in the rice. I think, Partha, when you are having your chili lines, which you are having more of anthocyanin, lutein, other things, I'll also kindly look into this heavy metal also.
No, that's for
Partha,
sure.
are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay.
Sir, not only these crabs are actually in Brahmaputra River, fish also was
Yeah.
highly contaminated
Yeah.
by the heavy metals.
Yeah. You said one of the
Okay, okay. Upada means Kakinada, near to Kakinada.
here only.
So where you analyze it, madam? Where you got from the data? The methodology part is also important, madam.
Yeah,
While
yeah.
doing-
Very important. Very, very important. The last part of his talk, he says, no, methodology is so important.
Yes, sir.
I just quote my experience with iron zinc. They used to do with, we have a instrument called, what is that we have in a rice? No, not AS, other one. Not ICP.
yes, sir.
Not ICP. ICP was there in ICAR-CTRI. We have called one, I will tell you, that is exclusively for iron zinc. That difference with our ICP was difference of 5 ppm. We used to add
5 ppm.
We used to add plus 5. And that difference with your ICP-MS is very huge.
Yes, sir.
And that is how now internationally they decided that not to use the other equipment, use only
ICP-MS
ICP-MS
for mineral analysis.
for mineral
Yes, sir.
analysis.
Yeah.
And similarly, glycemic index, which we are doing with NIN again.
Yeah.
With what is the name? The NIN glycemic index. The
Dr. Radhika?
no.
Devendra? Longwa, sir.
Longwa, and after that some Anantan.
Yeah.
Anantan is doing. There also the method with human,
Yes,
this is human values and biochemical values, huge difference. So that is the reason the method which is acclaimed, which is very accepted by international, is really required.
Yes.
Because that is the reason aflatoxin, which I was telling, we don't have proper value, how much should be the toxic and which we don't have. But aflatoxin, every time they talk.
Yeah,
And they talk because of that, and so many chili also getting, rejected.
Yeah,
So that is the first area I am feeling we can do that.
Fine, sir.
Other things will follow the same thing. Yeah, please.
So regarding the tobacco seed contains 30% seed oil.
35.
So 30
to 35, yeah.
So we have the collaboration with ICAR-CTRI. This seed oil was refined, and the preclinical toxicological studies was done with the NIN, and it was proved that in the rats, no adverse effect was found, and the seed oil is best.
No carcinogenicity.
No carcinogenicity.
Oh, wonderful. Okay.
So that studies should already be completed, sir. Only my question here is that is it mandatory to do it in the secondary primates to recommend this tobacco seed oil for the human consumption?
So how long back the studies was done, sir?
So I think it was done in 2000, no, sir, it was done in 2017-18 completed.
From your NIN only, you have a report.
Dr. Dinesh.
I mentioned.
Dr. Dinesh.
Dr.
Dinesh. And now, his question was very pertinent. Our research advisory council says that you need to test in humans or secondary primates.
Toxicological studies in secondary primates. That is the sentence which was given before recommendation to the human consumption. Is it a mandatory to do it, or can we go ahead for the human recommendation? Based on the preclinical toxicological studies, is it being done in other sunflower, safflower, and all these things for the secondary generation? This one.
But tobacco is a mandate, no, sir, because anyhow we are refusing to use the tobacco. In that direction, I think they might have quoted that sentence. But my concern is the animal models which you use for the study is also important. If you would have to done using these rodent models, as far as my concern, there is no need to go for the second, third.
Rodent model only.
That means
and they given very clear report.
Gerbil model.
Very, we can show you also.
I think
very clear that they given that it doesn't have any toxicity.
Then
very carcinogenicity, in fact, not toxicity.
Then there is no need to go for the second.
Yeah, but they say
choose the rodent model for the study.
Yes, I'm confident it was used with rodent model.
Okay.
My colleague Dr. Sreenivasa has done in collaboration with that. It is a platform project by the ICR.
Okay.
And only we are stuck up with that particular point that it is to be done in the secondary primates before its recommendation to this one.
Otherwise,
is it a mandatory to do it in other oils also?
No, sir. Actually, I don't know the mandates, but I can suggest you, if possible, why don't you take up one pilot study using some small sample size on human trials?
Yeah, that's what we are discussing with you. That's what we are discussing.
As far as the human consumption is concerned, the food material was prepared with this tobacco seed oil. We are the people consume.
You are consuming already.
We have consumed it. And in fact, the tobacco seed oil, the preparations with the tobacco seed oils were done in Gujarat, and they have been using. Maybe there are maybe 1 or 2%, maybe.
Then, sir, my suggestion, you can plan here itself, sir. Using your people already, you have many farmers and everything, no? After getting the IEC approval. If you want, just I will get the approval from my institute. IEC approval. I think, do you have committee here? IEC?
No, we don't have ethical.
Okay. Then just you propose with small objective, using the pilot study with around 30-40 sample size. That's more than enough. No, you can prove it, sir. What is there? What's wrong in that?
That's what Dr. Sreenivasa Rao, we were talking last time also.
Yes, sir.
Pilot study will do, and we will have to close this.
Yeah.
Because this fatty acid composition is very good. and it is equivalent of safflower type.
Wonderful.
Safflower
It
oil,
contains more of linoleic acid.
linoleic acid. So that
Essential fatty acid.
that composition also in the afternoon discussed with sir. I mean, it is having a very good, value. It can enter, as he says, it is already people are, mixing somewhere. Somewhere it is directly used in, Gujarat states like Gujarat and all. But those we cannot take as studies because public sector,
Unless, yes,
and unless we go in a proper way, we cannot enter into the food chain.
Exactly.
So now we will put like sometimes because people will not say, but the label of NIN has a more value.
That's what, sir. That is better already.
Yeah.
Anyhow, everything was proven.
Yeah.
The only thing is to give to satisfy the people.
Yeah.
Just we have to come up with small objective.
Yeah.
With the pilot study.
Yeah.
Satisfy the statutory
Exactly.
requirements to this one.
Yes, yes.
What we have to do to promote it? That is one issue.
Yeah, it's easy, sir. No problem. I think you need not to travel to NIN. We can plan here also.
Yes, sir. That's
Yeah,
what
but
we were.
IEC will propose.
No, sir. Actually, when we are having collaborations, I will propose the IEC approval in the institute.
Yeah.
Thereafter, we will conduct the study here itself.
Yeah,
Rather than selecting the subjects.
We have stuck up there, sir, because for doing that particular analysis in secondary primates, the quantum of the charges quoted were very high.
That he knows.
That is why we are stuck up there. Otherwise, by the time our director or earlier director, whoever director could have done it, because the quantum is very high, we cannot meet from our own funds.
Right,
we have
right.
to get a special fund from the ICR.
Yeah.
So otherwise, by this time, we could have given a recommendation that the tobacco seed oil is suitable for human consumption.
Wonderful. Okay.
And the second thing is that the tobacco green leaf contains the proteins.
What sir told already.
Yeah, proteins that the biochemist earlier that he analyzed and he got the protein. And the HDBRG, that which is having
one type,
contains the high protein, and that is the variety which can produce a green leaf biomass of 4,000 kgs minimum. And he extracted the because the only green leaf only the protein has to be analyzed. This one
only protein.
Only protein. Green leaf protein. Okay. Only thing we are stuck up there only. How to go further? This particular protein, how can you utilize it? Either it is for the human consumption, or either it is in the animal feed, or either it is elsewhere. And so that we can have the value addition to our tobacco leaf. That is one area, sir.
But protein, I think that protein, other day also I was discussing before you retire, that protein analysis, content-wise we did. How much protein it has. Protein, what type of protein it is? What type of amino acids it is?
Yes.
We don't have. I think we don't have data.
Yeah, we need to come up with
Unless we know this thing, whether this can go to the maize, poultry feed, either it can go to the human consumption, or it may be used for other things. We don't know. So those are also some missing links in this protein part.
Sir, poultry and fisheries also playing important.
Yes.
So rather than what sir is telling, rather than recommending to the humans, first why don't we try with these trials also?
But we need your
That's
help.
what, sir.
It's simple one. You have protein analyzer is there.
Not only protein, sir. We need to come up with almost all the nutrients.
Yeah, all the nutrients.
Almost
where we need a little backup from.
It is a very simple thing for you.
Yeah.
Just the protein extraction is easy.
Exactly.
Very big leaves. The leaf is bigger than this table. I think you must have seen some of our samples. And particularly the type what he is referring is this much big, wide leaf. And we can even extract very nicely. Then those protein need to be analyzed properly. Then, as you said, maybe it is used in aqua, maybe used in poultry. We will explore that.
Initially, you better to focusing it, sir. Aqua and this poultry. Thereafter, once if it will be proven, then
once we know that this is very good administrated and this thing, we'll approach the poultry feed people, Godrej or anybody for that matter. Avanti feeds are here. We'll say that a cheap protein is available and extraction also easy, and we can have a startup with somebody to extract the protein and then give them. So this way we want to do.
We need to develop the chain.
We want to develop this thing. Okay. Go ahead.
A small submission. This one, it's a clarification only. Regarding the limits for this diabetes, these diabetic limits are standardized, keeping in view the the dietary intake of the different people across this one? Because the same level we are even using either in USA, same thing using in here, same thing. I'm a rice eater. Somebody is using. Yesterday night, I might have taken a good amount of rice. Morning level that I'm having this one. Is that it true that it is across the globe it is having this?
No, sir. Continent to continent, there is a difference.
There is a
Continent to
difference.
continent. Even hypertension levels.
Yes,
also,
hypertension
WHO
level.
Recently, it has been increased.
Ah.
Earlier, it was 120/80. No.
Yes.
Now it is 140/90.
Yeah, 140.
Because of food practices has been changing. So year to year, no, that's what it has been increasing, sir.
Sir, one of your slides that was the pregnant and lactating woman, RDA levels were 350 and one is the 500 more. Something like that it was given. Whereas in the next where it was, what it was observed in the Indian population is very high. Is it true that that is a lactating woman and the pregnant women are doesn't have the malnutrition?
No, sir. In addition of what they projected in the common man, that is additional.
Additional.
Yeah.
Plus
yes, plus 300.
Plus 350.
Yes.
So
that means
common man plus 350.
Whatever the 350, 700 lacuna was there in common man, in addition of that, 350 could be added.
Oh, okay. That is 1,000.
Yeah.
Mm.
Thank you. Yeah, madam.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
What is it, madam?
Just even I have a rich experience working with tribal population of East Godavari, sir, because they have a lot of problems like night blindness, anemia, rickets in children, osteoporosis. All these problems we have come across, all nutritionally related problems. And the practices, they consume raw eggs, which has evidence, which inhibits the availability of biotin.
Yeah.
So all these factors, and we have also recommended some milk, soya milk we recommended. We have installed one soya milk unit in school so that they can consume, at least children can consume continuous protein will be available. Like soya milk per half a glass per day. So like that we did. Sir, another thing is...
But madam, small, this one here, the soya milk, of course, that is good for health. Even if you will give the soya milk, we cannot say that the quantity of available protein will be reaching and involving into the absorption efficacy.
Availability.
That is problem.
Availability is the fact.
Exactly. Though you know the quantity of protein or the other essential nutrients, though we are attending, but we don't know the efficacy is important here.
Yes, sir. Another one is sickle cell anemia. They
In
have a lot
tribal
of
population,
people,
it is
they have
good, madam.
sickle cell anemia,
Yeah.
even in tribal population,
Yes,
which I found.
Mm.
Another, this regarding the safety standards, sir, we have developed one immune booster. So whether we need to publish a paper after studying one regular for a period of 3 months like that, and the population like children, school going children like that, is there any necessity to publish a paper on that?
No, unless you have ethical clearance, it is not possible. No.
You should not do.
Yeah.
Don't try that.
Okay, okay.
You don't have a permission.
Conducting study.
No, you have to
You conducting
That
study
also
also we don't have a
right
this thing.
Yeah.
We should not attempt that will attract
that tribal people.
With the tribal people or normal people.
we are-
Tribal people you and cry.
Yes.
Even with ordinary also nowadays it attracts very thing. Don't do any human trial where we don't have authorized to do.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. These people.
Even regularly I am taking.
No,
That's okay.
madam.
That's okay. That's you only do it
Exactly.
taking.
Yeah.
Or you and your family are taking, or somebody your friends are taking. That won't come under as a trial.
Exactly.
But trial means something else. There you don't have a ethical.
Okay. Ethical clearance should be there from clinical.
Yes, madam. You have to take the ethical clearance. Otherwise, it is offense, madam. That is a problem.
Offense.
Very big offense, and public
Oh my
sector
God.
institutes are vulnerable to keep in a big papers that in a will come.
Unnecessarily, you will be in trouble.
Unnecessarily will come into limelight of.
And so because Mehta sir told sir that day to advocate some small quantity of this immune booster in a milk for some other school use.
No, that's correct.
Continuous,
That need to be done
by ethical approval.
through proper
After taking-
channel with the taking help of these people, and we can see that administered and then see how it is done. Because there is a problem that those people will be kept there
Exactly.
and given the food, and after 2 hours they do the blood test, all those things. Not like just giving somebody and go and they eat something else and there's something
They will
happened.
claim
Your concept is very nice, but to understand the people is problem here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually,
Social concern.
exactly. Unnecessary issues the people will raise. Once if such kind of things will come out, no, the media people will
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Sir.
Mm.
And what are the main this one standards we have to follow? Whether microbial count also has to be done before obtaining approval from society.
Absolutely, yeah.
Microbial count?
We need to have
whether any toxicity like that we have to test. Sir?
if it was tested product, no need actually. The minimum basic requirements is enough. If the product was not tested, we have to come up from the beginning again.
If tested is there, okay.
Yeah,
Because rural entrepreneurs, they are also taking within 2-3 days, sir.
That's what microbial count is not a big deal, madam. Just we will come up within just 2 hours. It's not a problem. Even at NIN also, sir, no problem. And the nutrition data also. Even 1 week we can able to initiate.
Nutritional data of one of our product we generated.
Okay.
All carbohydrate, protein, fat for 100 grams.
Okay.
And then vitamins also.
Fine, sir.
Some of the things she already she can
calcium,
show you. So much of data we generated, maybe from the one of the referred lab only, NABL accredited lab only.
Fine, fine, okay.
But she's now applying for FSSI. She started just yesterday or day before yesterday. Then I said, Sreenivasa Rao is coming. You discuss with him.
Okay.
Then later on you can proceed.
Fine,
Maybe some mistakes we do. Then why
We'll correct
unnecessary?
here
Again
itself.
we'll go back and all.
Exactly.
That's the reason I said
discuss
she
with
will
you
discuss
first, sir,
now.
whenever you
She got a one good product. I think that will be shown after lunch also.
Fine, fine. Sir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any more? Any more from Rajamandri? If not, then we have to go to online. Somebody is already putting in the chat box. What is that? Can you? Huh? Mishra ji, kya bol rahe? Can you read? I'm not. So done. That is done. Sahaji is raising a hand. Saha, Dr. Saha, you can ask now. Not audible, Saha. No, still.
He's attending from his mobile, sir.
No, we have a system only. Maybe he's from West Bengal or there. I don't know how it is. Saha, we are not able to hear you. Try again. By then, what Mishra ji is asking, we did not get your question. Mishra?
Sir, good afternoon, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, exactly, I have a question, sir. Exactly what the food, that fruits what we are taking, that exactly the disease is coming, that deficiency of nutrition. But I understand. Then some people are telling fruits we have to take before food or 1 hour before food, or fruits we have to take after food. Or fruits you should not take in empty stomach. So I want to know that the deficiency of that diseases of the nutrition of. So what is the best way to take fruits to fill up the deficiency of nutrition?
Yeah, okay, nice question. And the thing is actually fruits we should not attend before meal. The thing is when you are empty stomach, your acid levels will be increasing in the stomach. The moment when you are taking the fruit, the liberation of polyphenols and other essential components will be releasing, and they are interacting with the acid components in the stomach. That there are chances to develop the acidity problem. That's what actually the experts are telling, that fruits definitely we have to attend, but after meal only.
जो ट्रेडिशनली फॉलो कर रहे हैं, सालों से खा रहे हैं ना, वो जो तो खाना के बाद ही खा रहे था, कभी तो पहले खाने वाला, आजकल वो ब्रेकफास्ट में पहले खा रहे हैं. That is, I don't know how it is. So maybe some fruits may be taken. We don't know yet still.
But especially citrus fruits we need
citrus
to avoid.
fruits, as you said,
We need to
citrus
avoid. Fruits we need to avoid.
Yeah. Saha, try again.
Yeah, sir. Sir,
Yeah.
is it audible now, sir?
Yeah. Very much.
Thank you, sir, for enlightening us. I have a small submission because I had experience to work in cauliflower and brinjal for various bioactive compounds, especially for the desirable glucosinolate, then desirable phenolics. Right now, I am working on chili to get some lines reaching nutraceutical traits. So that time, I also faced a problem that we don't have any RDA, value of different bioactive compounds. though we have data on major and micronutrients, my submission is that you work on that aspect so that how much level should have a variety or in a line, maximum chlorogenic acid or capsaicin or curcumin, so that we can aware the consumer that this is the level we have in our variety or line. So you take the chili or turmeric so that the availability may remain in your body.
Yes,
This
sir.
is my submission.
Yeah. As
Thank
far as concerned to the nutrition data from Northeast region, what you said is right. There is still lacuna. But when we came up to release this Indian food composition tables, we had many difficulties to collect the samples from Northeast region. And now recently from a couple of years onwards, especially we are focusing it to collect the samples. Data, I think within 6 months, we are going to be releasing one more book on this Northeast region exclusive foods, including almost all the nutritional components. And even from the food chemistry laboratory itself, actually, we had published many papers, especially on these indigenous foods from Northeast region. What you mentioned, almost all the nutritional components are included in that foods.
Yes, sir. Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, right.
Okay. Dr. Dam, you also have some question? No? Okay. What else? Any more? Anybody have?
Sir, I'm Dr. Madhav from Unsur, sir, Karnataka.
Yeah, please.
I have one question, sir. Now it's an era of GM food crop, nano food technology. In what way it is going to alter our nutritional security or nutritional requirements? Can you throw light on that, sir?
What is the
He says nano. He said nano, no?
Nano
technology people are using. Many of the products are coming, fertilizers and this thing. Is there any effect of this nano?
Sir, I think you put to talk GM foods, you are the right person.
GM, okay. GM, you can, I will talk. Yeah.
But nano foods also, now the technology has been introducing slowly into the market. So far, we don't have much concern about any adverse effects when compared to the other conventional foods also, Randy. I think hope it will take some time to come up with regulations as well as health concern, especially in India.
Yeah, there was concern. With my limited knowledge that nano was a concern, and nano was right now in India. There is a big task force is there for the nano products. They says that these nano products are only in this fertilizers level they accepted. But that is also, I think, Madhav Swami, you can see the TNAU website. The nano man, Bala Subramaniam or somebody, he made, yeah. So he made the whole guidelines and accepted by Government of India that only type 4 or type 3 nanoparticle size of very, very small only are approved. Other than that, there were little bit bigger size, small. That is also nano, but little bit more, they're not accepted. And there also some silver, nano, and some other inert materials. They are only accepted. Some are rather not accepted. This whatever we are getting like nano urea, nano DAP, nano zinc, all these are accepted permutation level only. Otherwise, some we made nanoparticles from rice husk in IAR. Somebody made rice husk se nanoparticle banaya, but that was bigger, so they did not accepted that. So I mean that you can see very well. But consumption point of view, products which are coming in a nano, I think still not accepted in a consumption. This only I have knowledge. I don't know. GM foods very well know. Everybody knows now. GM in India not allowed.
Yeah.
Not allowed. Still food level we did not come.
Yeah.
We come to the level of only cotton. Cotton is accepted and still cotton is going on.
And tomato, sir?
Brinjal we did not accepted in India.
Okay.
But in Bangladesh it is accepted. Many people claim that from Bangladesh it is coming to Bengal to Bihar to South India also it came. But there were no reports that whatever the brinjal we are eating has a BT gene or something.
Okay.
We don't have reports and nobody want to report also. Because they are all happy that somehow that fruit borer incidence has come down in brinjal. Maybe people expecting that it is may have a BT gene, but not reported.
Okay.
Your own colleague, Dr. Dinesh, says many times that we are eating BT, but we don't have any report. Nobody will really appreciate the whatever we talk.
Exactly.
And nobody is bold enough to take work on that. Maybe these people are done, but not to reporting. Not reporting.
Yes,
So
yes.
that is, better not to talk on that. But instead of BT, nowadays, genome-edited products, which are out of this bio safety issues, especially genome-edited 1 and 2, SDN 1 and 2, they're not going any bio safety issues because they're only small nucleotides are changing, only 1 or 2, or maybe 1 or 2 adding. Not much changing even in the amino acid level. So they are accepted, and DBT is already given a guidelines to go ahead. So they're all in now field trials testing. I think there are around 16 to 17 genome edited products are ready in India now. And now my colleague is also started in tobacco. So I think it will take another 2.5 years or 3 years. So that doesn't have any regulations. And coming to the BT, I think the CTRI is the number one. If you see the history, maybe this is a different topic than what you talk.
Okay.
BT, we are the pioneers. We are the CTRI. The first one we tested open field trials. But because of, again, the issue of export, and then this came, so we have not released to the outside. But we done extensively trial, and it was working also.
Interesting, sir.
Yeah.
Right.
So these are all the things I think, in tobacco, sir, I just, while talking, I summed up this thing. In tobacco value addition, we want oil, protein. Solnisol is another terpene. What is that? Is it sesquiterpene? Sesquiterpene, they will show you the solnisol compound, and the nicotine. Nicotine extraction we are doing. So that is also making a very, very, very good amount of market is there.
Fine, sir. Yeah.
In case of turmeric, we have curcumin, and there are some other bioactive compounds will be there. And maybe we need total analysis of nutrition aspects also, which might have there in your directory of this thing. Maybe those ones we make the formulations only, we will go to the analysis part of thing. Chilli, a lot of compounds are there, like capsaicin, capsanthin, lutein, anthocyanin, and many other compounds. Okay.
Sure.
In ashwagandha, we have 2 important compounds like vithanolide and vitaferin. And the compositions what we are making, how much vithanolide, she's already used ashwagandha, but how much vithanolide is there in that, we don't know.
Okay.
How much vitaferin is also don't know. And there are, if you see commercially, Himalaya, Dabur, and many other companies already made compounds with a composition of vitaferin of 70, vithanolide of 30, and they made some compounds. Some products are already there.
Fine,
But whatever we make should match that one, and even if it is same, but with our tag, I think we can supersede that because anything coming from the public sector will have this thing. So the source of materials, we have many for the turmeric and chili. Sourcing from the farmers, we can do it. The only thing we what you rightly identified, that then third objective we have I also accept that we want your help in analyzing those material and come up with to the kind of a formulation level. Once we made a formulation, we need a complete study of those formulation in a nutritional point of view, also anti-nutritional point of view.
Yeah.
Then we will take a FSSAI standards, and then people are there to take our product to in a commercialization. That is the whole cycle of our. My colleague is their economic friend who has now incubator facility also. Now we are going to start now.
Fine,
We have given an application. If it all comes, many incubators will come here to incubate those things and their ideas and our ideas to take them. Commercialization can be done, this institute. So that is this thing. I think your role is very important in our journey. And today we started with a small activity. I think we should go long way.
Fine, sir.
So this thing.
So
thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much once again. And one thing I can say here is, what the directors are mentioned here, as far as my concern, the study we need to consider into the 2 phases. The first phase is whatever the products as in the form of raw, you have in the first phase, we need to come up with the entire profile of nutritional components. So according to the availability data on nutritional components, the second phase, we need to go for the value addition chain. So, and whatever the components in addition of your products are having the nutritional components, you can fulfill the gap as per the RDA. And those products again can be identified the entire nutritional composition, including the preclinical studies, efficacy, toxicity studies also. And the third phase, what Sir is telling, we need to go for the public domain. Yeah. These are the three stages that we need to come up, sir.
Yeah, I think LK and your team, Suman and then Anandita Pal and whoever interested, you can discuss more on these aspects and come with a kind of a plans so that then we can, anyway, we are going to have a MOU with them, but there in MOU also we need to write what we need to do. As Madam says, some of the facilities we want to use, that will be there anyway, and some of the basic studies we want to take and analysis part, what he said, stage 1 and stage 2 also. So that, and suppose some products already made, some maybe they are good or bad. They're good, of course, but need ethical studies. Those
Fine.
also we need to take this thing.
So yeah, as per as Madam directions, if she want to come up with the developer products, directly we will enter into the efficacy studies.
She has one product, at least for my concern and my interest in that is it is good.
Yeah, and that product also we better to include in the study format only, sir.
Yes.
Rather than presenting in the separate mode.
We
will include in the same study.
We would like to. If you are involved, we would like to even put your label also. I know the label of NI, how much it has the value. It is another adds further value to the value added product. So definitely, because our rice with low GI, it is not low GI. I mean, don't quote me because I came out of rice. It is only 50.5.
Exactly.
It is only less than 0.5% than the conventional this thing. But when we kept a label of NIN, it sold very heavily.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Exactly
so
right, sir.
we'll take advantage of NIN, then I think we'll go ahead.
So thank you very much, sir, for giving me this opportunity.
Yeah.
Once again, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, our formal vote of thanks is there.
Give us an opportunity to felicitate you, sir. I would now request Dr. Anamita Paul to propose a formal vote of thanks.
First of all, I record my sincere thanks to Dr. J. Sreenivasa sir for accepting our invitation in very short notice. I'd like to profusely thanks to you, sir, who has made immense contribution in towards the health and nutrition research platform. Thank you very much, sir, for this scintillating lecture on nutrition scenario in Indian tools and methods in food analysis. Sir, you rightly mentioned about the public health nutrition, which is one of the key pillars for betterment of healthy India. And it is the need of hour and right time to go together hand by hand so that to produce a healthy product development, nutritional supplement to make a healthy India. Sir, your eye-opening talk definitely inspired us in view of how to address malnutrition. What is the role of nutraceuticals and the nutritional supplements to get rid of the lifestyle diseases? On this very note, I'd like to thank our Honorable Director, Sir, Dr. M. Sheshu Madhav, sir, for this ideation and the direction in the support and also excel this wonderful platform in revision of knowledge on food chemistry. Thank you, sir. I'd like to also thank Head of the Divisions and Principal Scientist, Dr. K. Sarla ma'am, Crop Improvement, Dr. S. Kasturi ma'am, Crop Management in Charge, Dr. L.K. Prasad sir, Post-Harvest and Value Addition, and also to the heads of all the station of ICAR-CTRI who has joined virtual mode. I'd also like to thank Dr. CCS Rao sir, our emeritus scientist or retired scientist, for your presence, sir. It is worth mention to thank to ISTS for all the assistance and other arrangements. I extend my thanks to scientific colleagues, technical staffs, supporting staffs, administrative staffs of CTRI for appreciable support in conducting this event, and also thank for assembling in this occasion both online and offline mode. My sincere thanks to this officer in charge AKMU, Dr. H. Ravishankar sir, for the technical support and live streaming of the seminar. My special thanks goes to the MSU section also, Seminar Hall Committee, Mr. M.N. Pekumaji and Parmesh for making the appropriate arrangements. I thank each and every person whom I didn't mention, but helped us directly and indirectly to make this seminar successfully, sir. Thank you so much for your presence, sir. Thank you.
I have one announcement to make. Yeah, you can take the seat. Only 1 minute. Dr. Rajshekar got an order for as a head of crop management. He's coming from NRI. He's entomologist. Okay. Yeah.